Good weekend, all. Ira Epstein, and yes, I am back. It is Friday, the 10th of November, 2023, and this is your SPDR ETF wrap-up. The things we have to look for this week are, number one, any hostages going to be released, because tonight there was breaking news on the national news that there's a movement afoot to get hostages released. How many, who they'll be, don't know. I didn't like, and I'm going to repeat it in every tape I said, that Netanyahu says Israeli hostages. Mr. Netanyahu, your allies. Did you forget who we all are? The Americans are just as important. Get them home. All right, not just Israelis. And they'd be the last to be released, I would guess, by Hamas, the Israeli ones. But the bigger issue to me is going to be that we're now running into the U.S., for us, our budget deficit issue. Are they going to kick the can down the road? I'm kicking with my foot here. Or are they going to just say, let's duke it out? I don't know. Okay? I don't know enough about Mr. Johnson, how strong he is, how much backing he has to make that decision. I'm going to learn a lot on this negotiation, but I don't know. If you know, great. I've been watching the different news channels trying to get a feel for it, and not that many people know enough to know what's going to happen. I think it's 60-40 that they're going to close some agencies down. We've seen that before. They give a little bit of money to keep some things going while they duke it out. And that duking it out, because of how this is going, you know, they're all going home for Thanksgiving. So if they don't do it come next week, you're only going to get 3-4 days where they're going to fight, and then they're going to their families for Thanksgiving. Believe that, okay? That is what's going to happen, and then they'll come back and fight it as we get into December. That's what I think can be the game plan. Do I want it to be opposite? Of course I do. Do I think it can be? No. No. They're either going to find a way to kick the can down the road. They're not going to resolve it. Biden's not going to give money for the wall, although he's watching that the American public on each of the opinion polls is saying, what's the most important thing to them? The wall. What is this deaf man doing? He's got to go to an ear doctor. He's got to learn to listen what the people want. What would it hurt him to take care of the wall, to take care of all that? I'm not understanding. His own base, his voting base, is upset with him. I don't understand enough about his thinking to get it, okay? You might, and you can write about it to me. I'd love that, okay? Tell me off, but I don't get it. All right. We've been covering BND, and I'll end up with that. I just brought it up last week, and we'll finish it. We had a heck of a neat rally. We saw that your 10-year notes fell 0.5 point. We saw, as I expected, and while I was gone, I was doing my morning subscriber videos when I could get them out, and I got them out most of the time. I couldn't get out at night. You know, I go out to dinner with friends and that. I'm on vacation. I'm not going to sit there glued to a computer. I need a few days off, and I'm entitled to it, in my mind. So I look at the market and I said, okay, where are we going with all this? What Fed leader, or central banker is the right word, is going to come out and say, we've beaten the inflation now, our finger's not on the trigger, we're just waiting for that moment that we can cut rates? That isn't going to happen. So what they did is just what I'd expect. They came out, and to a banker, we're making progress, we're not there, and at any point this inflation can pick itself right back up. And that's what they're going to say from now through, honestly, March or April. If inflation does in fact pick up, they will make the move. But I haven't seen inflation pick up. I'm trying to understand where it could come from. Fuel prices have fallen. Food prices are falling. I don't know enough about shelter. There's different parts of the country that are different. Chicago, where I live, the rent has gone up 5.7% this year, and it's not breaking. So there's something else going on. In New York, I'm hearing for the first time, rents are coming down. So I think it's all where you live and how that is working, but that's not enough of the seesaw to say that the shelter cost is just plain falling. It's nice to see that the fuel prices have come down. It's nice to see that the natural gas price is down. It's nice to see the heating oil prices down. And it's really nice to see, I flew to where I went, I'm not going to say this time, and my airfare was about 40% cheaper than it was about a year ago. So I'm very happy with that. Not a year ago, recently. BND, lower low, higher high. Okay, that's not a trend trade. If you rally, the resistance should be pretty stiff here at 70.58. The market was riding the lower Bollinger Band, and it all began back here. And you just kept breaking. So you've had a relief rally. You have not gone in an uptrend. What would define going into an uptrend? The first step is you got to close back over the 18-week average of closes, and you haven't done that since May. So not doing that, you're getting bear market rallies. Why a bear market? By my guys, is the way that I teach charting. When you're under the 18-week average, you're bearish. You're looking for sell signals within that configuration. If buy signals come in via the swing line, this brown line, they are bear market rallies. And that's what you've had. You haven't had a buy signal. In this case, you just have a lower low, higher high, but it's a bear market rally. It could turn bullish on a close over 70.58 right now. And that number will change when we reopen this week and trade a bit, because this is a weekly moving average. It's going to look at where it's at right at the end of the week. In BND, you lost the embedded reading. That's all I had to see. Once that occurred, the way, and if you've taken my enhanced Bollinger Band course, once you lose that, you have it there and you lose it. Bingo. The odds are you're going to make a run for the 18-week average of closes. I still have that as an open objective before you take out that low. Now, it does a better job of doing that on the daily charts than it does on the weekly. And it does a better job of doing that on the weekly than it does on a monthly. Get what I'm saying? The longer you go out there, it's a laboring number. But suffice to say, that is what the market I was looking at. We then come to Microsoft. This is one, did I cover it? Yeah, I did. One of my favorite things has been Microsoft, but I would not tell my clients now to buy over it. Why do I like Microsoft? I have a philosophy in life. If you look around at the things you buy in your home and you buy the manufacturer of those, how bad have you done? So if I thought my Microsoft products were terrible, I'd have switched to Apple on my PCs. I didn't. So I've stayed with it through thick and thin because I think it's a great product. Now that they can monetize AI, I think it's a better product, and that's what's happening here. The market is in that process. But you're overbought, you're over the band. How often do you stay over a Bollinger Band? 5% of the time. No, I would not be telling clients to add on here. They should have added on and own it. KRE, very important on these regional banks. You can get a big pop here. If you can clear 44.21, week ago high, and stay up for the week, you'd have higher lows, higher highs. You'd have a bull signal. And it would open the door for the possibility of 49. All you've done so far is you've corrected an oversold market, and now you're waiting to see the next direction on the weekly chart. MCHI is still bearish. It has stayed underneath the 18-week average, been there since August. And it could actually extend that break one more time. Now, what I'm not keen on is the market embedded? Well, if we take a look together, you lost your embedded reading. You started losing it back right there. You can see that. Now, is it going to be a failure or not? Often, when you lose it before you go to the recent low, you make a run to the 18-week average. XLI, same thing? No. This was just an oversold market, got a bounce. This is where I think the pros covered their shorts. You know, my videos are up there, so I know what I would say. First challenge of 100-week in the Bollinger Band, I'd be saying to you, I think the pros are covering their shorts. It's exactly what I would teach. You haven't, what'd you spend? One more 8 days, 10 days under that number from then? That's it, and you've come back. Could go up a bit further here to work off the oversold condition, but there's nothing bullish on this chart. XLE, there's nothing bullish on this chart. It's still bearish. It is oversold. It could easily go down here to 81.79, 80.73. Do you hear any foreign country, OPEC plus, Muslim country saying they're not sending oil to anybody? I don't think they're saying that. So the Israeli war has contained itself, and none of us knew if it would do that. That gave you some of this bounce in the market, and once we saw it didn't happen, the market has taken that all back. The dollar. Now you got to figure out, how do you want to trade the dollar going into this week's vote by Congress, because you're going to get the votes. Now the battle comes. It's like, for the first time, old Mitch McConnell and some of the old croakies, wake up. We have a budget battle? We have a battle to do here? Why at the last minute is always beyond me, but they do it, all right? As I repeat, I know nothing about Speaker Johnson. I don't know if he's strong, weak, how the parties are going to view him, what the Democrats and Republicans think. I got to learn more. I don't know anything about the man, so I can't tell you where this thing is going. And I think a lot of the people that analyze these markets can do it. I could tell you about McCarthy. I could tell you about Steve Mnuchin, Manchin. I can't tell you about these other people, all right? Because I read about them. I just don't know enough about them. In the gold market, you went from the support zone of the Bollinger Band, 100-day average, to the upper band and right back down. You think that's a trend? Better tell me no. This was the Israeli conflict, and suddenly all the air's come out of it. Why? Because people are going to say, it's their thing, it's not my thing. We got our ships there, but we're not fighting. We get little skirmishes, drones get shut down. It's not enough. The U.S. isn't being drawn into diddly. Okay, they're there, and that's it. And we've got President Xi meeting with President Biden. That's a breakthrough. They haven't met in a year. This is big, okay? And Janet Yellen met with her counterpart. So better things are happening than worse. Not that bullish for gold. It can change on a dime. You know that, and I know that. Once countries are fighting, anything can happen. But barring all of us getting drawn in, now that took the out of the gold market for the time being. And if gold's no good, why do you want to own the gold miners? I can't imagine that. Then we get to the Tesla problem. Okay, keep cutting the price of cars. That's how you got to sell them. Okay, it comes down to these wonderful electric cars, and they are wonderful. They're too expensive. They're not a commodity yet. I can understand the high-end luxury car. I was with one of my friends this weekend, and I'm sitting in his garage with him, and we are choosing, I swear to you, do we take a new Rolls, his new convertible, his Continental, I'm cracking up as I'm looking at all this, and then the sports cars, I mean, unbelievable. But that's a different type of money guy. I'm sitting here, my car's, I don't think I have a car newer than 11 years old. I don't need a new car. I live in Chicago. Where am I going? Where I was? No, they use their cars. They're driving. The weather's beautiful. Here, come on, you take your car on the street, you don't know what's going to happen to it. So there's city driving in a big city. There's beautiful driving in other parts of America. There's wealth driving in others of us. I just need transportation. It's pretty simple, okay? I go from point A to point B, and if my average drive in Chicago is 8 to 10 minutes, it's a lot. Give you an idea? Uber. This is my car. Here you are. I use Uber all the time. It's my favorite car. It's my chauffeur. I was flying down on the airplane. I was cracking up. A woman, she was talking, and she lived here in Chicago. When we were talking, I didn't know her. My wife's talking, I'm talking to her. And she was saying, oh yeah, my husband got me a car, asked me what I want. I go, what'd you get? I got an Uber. Great answer, but the car she would like is a chauffeur. But that's why you gave her an Uber. But that's how it basically works. You know, it's funny when you think about it. Darden restaurants, okay. So I think they've come back, and I said that to you. I think they are through their worst. I ate at a place that was one of theirs. I couldn't believe it. I'd never been there. Eddie V. Nice restaurant. I was very impressed. And high end, okay? I didn't know it was a Darden, part of the Darden chain. So, I like when I go into a place and I didn't know, and my friend was explaining to me, yeah, you're covering this, and there it is. Google, well, we all use Google. But it's just a nothing market. It's sideways at this point, and there's my news. So you put it all together. You try to come up with things. This will fill in on, there you go. And away you move with them, and that's what you do. But I cover this for you in a really neat way every morning. So if you're serious about trading, I start you off in the mornings looking at futures because they make up the ETFs. You don't think SPY, DIA, TLT, BND, they're all covered by the futures markets. They're based in large part on cash or futures. Then you can get to the individual stocks, which are different. So I do that. So I start with the futures at 5:10 in the morning, a.m. Central Time. That video's ready before 6 a.m. traditionally by me. I start you Monday through Friday with daily charts. At about 8:40 a.m. Central Time, I open up my stock charts and I start preparing them for my recording because a lot of important fundamental information comes out Chicago time by 9, which is 10 Eastern. So I'm covering all that. I'm covering all this, 40 each at least. I'll mix it between, on the weekends, they're going to be the weekly charts with the daily, and then Monday through Friday, they're going to be the daily charts primarily, backed up by the weeklies. And I throw trade ideas. I don't talk the general way. Here's what the pros are doing here. I'm telling you what I think you should do. Take it, don't take it. I track it. So if I tell you to do something, we're going to track it right on through. I think you'll find it might be another tool for your arsenal, and I price it so it is a tool and not a bother. How do you get and find out more? Go to our website under the word research, or move your cursor up here, right to the top. You'll see an icon. Give it a click. It'll take you there. But it's iraepstein.com research. I'm Ira. You have a great weekend. I will catch up with you on Monday. Take care.